Good evening. I want to sit here and read something for you. Okay? Lying and childhood trauma. Lying can be a common response to childhood trauma, often serving as a coping mechanism for individuals who have experienced neglect, abuse, or other forms of trauma. Children who have faced repeated betrayal or neglect may find it difficult to trust others, leading them to lie as a defense mechanism to protect themselves from potential disappointment or hurt. I covered that part in one of my other videos. In some cases, pathological lying can arise as a result of childhood trauma, such as neglect or abuse. People who did check my overhead. People who did not have their needs met as a child may start lying as a way to seek the love and reassurance they crave. They might also internalize. They misspelled that. Internalize. Internalize the message that they are not good enough, leading them to lie to hide what they perceive as unforgivable personal flaws that make them unworthy of others' love. Children with complex traumas often lie to avoid punishment, maintain a sense of control, or shield themselves from potential harm. Even simple questions can trigger a lie if the child fears getting in trouble. This habit can become so ingrained that they may not even know what the truth is anymore, as they have learned to give others answers that the world can digest. For individuals who have experienced traumas, lies can be particularly triggering when a person's reality has been denied or replaced with harmful ideas. Even white lies can represent clear triggers back to those traumas and the emotion associated with those traumas. Trust becomes incredibly difficult for those who have experienced significant trauma, making it hard to cope with lies even in scenarios where trust might reasonably be earned. Healing from these behaviors often involves therapy to address childhood traumas and underlying mental health disorders. Approaching lying with compassion, understanding, rather than shame can help individuals become more aware of their lying patterns and work towards overcoming trauma. Now, this part is not for the weak or the sensitive. I don't know how to put rated R on my channel, so just bear with me. Childhood. I don't even know if I can say the word out loud. Let's change that four-letter word to childhood sexual assault, trauma, and lying. Lying can be a coping mechanism for individuals who have experienced childhood traumas, including they're just going to keep putting that word in there. Childhood trauma can lead to the development of pathological lying as a way to deal with the pain and distress associated with the traumatic experience. This behavior can become habitual and often linked to underlying mental health issues such as post-traumatic stress disorder or complex PTSD. or otherwise known as childhood post-traumatic stress disorder, which can manifest long after the initial trauma, which is saying just because you were traumatized as a kid does not mean it's not going to spark up today or tomorrow. Okay? It may or may not, but this is saying it very well could be triggered in adulthood, so you'd be suffering from your PTSD later in life instead of dealing with the issue then. Okay? That's actually what happens when you don't deal with the PTSD or the trauma. Okay? If you don't deal with the trauma mentally, dealing with mental health, okay, procedures and process of getting through something, if you don't deal with it then, you will develop post-traumatic stress disorder because you never dealt with the issue prior. Okay? Now, where did I leave off? For some individuals, lying may serve as a means to avoid confronting the traumatic memories or to gain attention and sympathy from others. The connection between childhood trauma and pathological lying suggests that these individuals may not be fully aware of why they lie, and the behavior can persist into adulthood. Okay. Let's see. Now, lying in this statement I just read, lying can be used to cover up, mask the trauma, or it can be used in a victimhood mentality, always playing the victim, always saying so and so did this to me, and it gets drawn out every relationship you have next. Okay, I've seen that in multiple women. I don't know what to do about that. I'm not supposed to fix people on a personal level. I'm working on doing this for a professional. Okay. Currently, I hold the credentials as a psychotherapist, and I got a whole ton of life coaching stuff. I got to print it out and hang it up on the wall. So this is a part of my learning process. Okay. Some of this is helping me understand women my age. Okay. So I've seen this actually play out where a woman would say, this happened to me in childhood, but then when you get to know her, when she starts explaining each relationship she's had since, she blames each man with the same traumatic thing that happened to her in childhood. She'll blame him for doing it to her, or blame him for doing it to the kids. Now, mind you, I'm not dismissing if the dude actually does it to the kids, I'd strangle the shit out of him too. But my point being is, a lot of men are being accused of this, but only after the woman's already left that guy, using it as a crutch, saying, oh, I left him because he said or did this. Okay? I've seen, like 3 or 4 women so far over the last 20 years try to tell me they had a childhood experience, trauma, but then I get to know them and they say this happened in this relationship and this happened in this relationship, and just it starts stacking up like, who's the actual issue here? Okay. Now, mind you, in this scenario, women don't actually know they're doing it. Okay. I'm not just saying it's just women. My example is the women part. Okay. This is just saying it will happen. It does happen to young boys into manhood. What else we got here? Childhood trauma and pathological lying. The uncontrollable lying. That's a hard one for me to understand. For those that know me, if I try to lie, like even something stupid, trying to hide like a surprise party or something, a surprise period, or trying to hide the fact that I bought a birthday card or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, people read that on me. I can't keep secrets. So this part is for me to learn to understand the lying part in itself. Okay. Now, in previous videos, I didn't directly say it, but because I'm reading these passages here, I did have a childhood experience. It did not have to do with sexual assault. To me, I was in the household when it happened. Okay. I was the little boy that got beat up for trying to save his sister. Twice. I can see that being I can't even think of the right word. The uncontrollable lying, I can't think of the exact word, but it goes along with pathological lying. Pathological lying kind of more refers to the premeditated thought of, or on the spot thought of creating that lie and sticking to it. Okay. In other psychology research, you will understand that when people are like this, they will be at home or in private or in their head, in their car, like creating and molding these things. So when they get to their destination, say they leave the house, they have an issue, they get to where they're going, they've already created this whole scenario in their head of what they're going to say as their personal truth, which is absolute fabricated lie. Okay? That's pathological. It's not necessarily like sociopath, crazy, psychotic shit, evil shit, right? No. It's just an underlying mental health condition. Okay? And it does persist into adulthood. Okay? This one section, okay, also insinuates that the trauma itself will persist into adulthood. Not just the lying, but the actual issue, the trauma that happened, whatever it was. Okay? It says here, for pathological lying, often involves therapy, blah, blah, just like the last one. Here's something for anybody out there that would like to know about it. RAINN.org, RAINN.org, okay? That is a sexual assault organization. They have a hotline. I'm not going to advertise for them because I don't know nothing about them, but that's what came up. And there's a few other child sexual assault advocacy stuff in here. I highly recommend looking into that if you have any of those issues in your life. But what I was trying to get to in this stuff is the lying part. Okay. Because of the things I've experienced and the things I've learned, I've learned to read people and watch for cues, visual, body language, facial cues, and the verbiage, how they carry themselves as they speak. Okay? Um, it's one of the tells. Okay? You can tell the difference between a high energy person, which is typically, and I don't want people to think I'm talking down about it, but fair skin, ginger color hair people, okay? Um, those genetics, the gingers, they always have good energy. Most of them are very positive, very excited, and always on the go. Just da 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 da, you know. And you can very well tell the difference between a low energy person or just a regular Joe. Okay. Like I said in a different video, people tend to behave differently when they try to lie. Okay, it's the way they try to make the lie real, and that's one of the things you have to pay attention to. Is how are they carrying themselves, and how do they speak the words? How do they inflect the words, and what are they saying, and how are they saying it, and in what context? Okay, and what are they doing with their body? Are they talking with their hands? I have a bad habit doing that because I always want to build something, create something visual as I speak. But anyway, that's another thing. Okay, that's exactly what I'm trying to explain here. Okay, the pathological lying will take that need to create the visual aid to make it real. They will take that to the extreme and create an entire elaborate scenario within 15-minute drive from their house to wherever they're going. And this story just fucking fabricated out of fucking nowhere. And some of these people are very elaborate and they think on their feet very quickly. But that's when you have to know the facts of things to call their bluff, to call their bullshit. And it's right there. You know, this is homework, folks. So it's nothing that I made up. All right. I enjoy the psychology stuff and the sociology stuff. I spent a lot of time outside normal society. As a child and a teen, I basically was told to shut up and go to my room to stay there. And at one point, the windows got bolted shut, like from the outside. My driver's license was taken from me. And I wasn't allowed to go outside and have friends. Okay? And then later in teenage life, I graduated high school and went to the Marine Corps. Like I said in a different video, that I left for the Marine Corps because I basically wanted to fucking die. I wanted to go Iraq. I didn't want to come back. And God has made sure I came back every time. There's been several occasions where I've purposely put myself in danger, knowing full well that bullet's going through my head. It never fucking happened. God made it so that I would get all these different jobs to be able to do anything I put my mind to. And now I realize I'm doing all this so I can help people, being in service to others. I'm still doing the life coach stuff. You can't be a life coach if you only have one little niche you're working on. Okay? And if you're selling that one little niche, it's beyond me. I don't know how you're really doing much with it. For me, my goal for life coaching is the certified master life coach instructor. I want that level. So I've got over 160 courses I have to complete. I'm only at 33 or something like that. That's probably still loud on the microphone. So what I was saying is, I want to have every last detail I can. I want to have every shard, every puzzle piece to put something together. Okay? And I don't understand the need to want to do that, although I trust that that's God. Give me that kind of motivation to say, I need to make sure I cover all my bases so I can address anybody's life coach issue. And then the psychology part. Life coaching will help me with psychology to learn people, to learn their ideas and how they think and the types of things that are out there that people want to get into. Okay? The sociology part helps me learn society and societal behavior, not just individual behavior. That's psychology. And all this put together, I bring it to the ministry program as I'm working in those classes. Along with that, there's a whole line of spirituality stuff. Martial arts, meditation. There's a lot of world history that's linked to all this too. When I first got on this journey, I thought the most ancient shit out there was the pyramids. That was the only thing left. But come to find out, our entire history, including current religions, are skewed. You have to go find the real knowledge yourself. And by doing so, I help myself realize I was right for thinking that how I believe things should be now. I was thinking that was a kid. I grew up believing, like in this last passage, okay, believing that wasn't good enough. My ideas were wrong. That was a part of my trauma. A narcissist will brainwash every last person he can to stay in control. Yes, he will. There's a lot of other things that this passage and the other one does not say, but I can tell you, sexual assault victims, whether they were the one being assaulted or if they were in the household, causes further complex sexual behaviors in adulthood, and it does lead to pedophile tendencies. Okay? I'm not going to read that passage on camera because it's not for TikTok or YouTube. But I can tell you, all my videos I've made so far about age-appropriate relationships, I'm going to stick by that because even psychology and ministry agree on that. Okay? Yeah, so I just want to share that. A lot of people lie a lot, and I don't think most people even think about why they lie or why people lie in general. Well, there you go. It's right there. Okay? It's either from neglect or abuse. Neglect being feeling not good enough or feeling wrong. And it could be abuse of emotional, verbal, physical, and sexual abuse, which will later in life create post-traumatic stress disorder, or complex PTSD, or otherwise childhood post-traumatic stress later in life. And it could hit in your 30s or your 40s, and you were just fine yesterday. But something in life, it could be the neighbor, you finding out the neighbor kid got raped or something, okay? And it triggers you. And all that shit stirs up again, okay? That's basically what it's saying. It may not be that extreme of an example, but at the same time, it could just be a big billboard saying something of the assault hotline, and it triggers. Or some creepy dude at the store freaking her out. Or something, a smell, a sight, a sound. That's what it means by a trigger. Okay? Also, these external triggers will also trigger internal thoughts. Thoughts meaning thoughts of the situation and memories. And then triggering the memories. The memories are also attached to the emotions. The emotions are attached to your body's reaction. Okay? Emotions is literally an acronym. Energy in motion. Okay? That's going diving deep into metaphysics and shit that most people won't believe, but your brain is kicking up electricity and it's sending it through your body. So let's just stick to that one. And everything is linked. Okay, your emotions will manifest in your body's reaction. It does. And those are visual cues you can watch in people. If you ever run across a narcissist, Chad going over, they will act like this and way beyond it. I would highly recommend looking up the narcissist. I'm not diving into that because it really messes my head. That's one of my triggers. Take a moment, review that stuff. But for now, I think I've said enough. I think this is pretty clear. So, also, I hope you enjoyed the sound quality now. I have this thing sitting about just over a foot, maybe 18, 20 inches away from my mouth, above me, and canted so that the shield is facing me. And you can see it in camera, kind of catty corner. Blackmagic app is set at 100% gain. And I have, oh yeah, it is on 100% gain. So everything's at 100%. So yeah, hope you enjoy everything I'm putting together for you, and little tidbits of like how to set up a microphone, how to attach it to your phone. That was pretty clever. That video I made of plugging it in, I had the idea and I turned the phone on and started recording. It was like, oh shit, I did that. That was a real reaction. I didn't even try it before I turned on the camera, because I just realized it's a USB. I've got these adapters. I just told you I had these adapters. I'm like, wait a minute, my microphone's USB. So anyway, Have a good night, folks. And don't be afraid to let some of this stuff out. Don't be afraid to just get rid of it. Deal with it. Okay? No matter what, deal with it right then. And then drop it. Let it go. Have a beautiful night, folks.